So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. As you know, we're running a series of interviews with managers from different industries to see how COVID has affected our industries, our digital economy, and also which are the forecasts for the future. Today, we have a super pleasure to have with us Martin Waeber, which is Director at Immoscout24. Thank you very much for joining us today, Martin.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Where are you today?
I'm in my home office and doing good. So starting the week with a good interview with you.
Thank you very much, and we will learn. We're eager to know what things how have evolved during COVID, and also which are your expectations for the future. Just for everybody that is connected today, we have the opportunity, first of all, to listen to Martin and following our plot of interviews that we have prepared, but also if you wish later on in around 30 minutes, if you want, and if you wish to have some Q&A directly with him. So again, thank you very much for your time, Martin. So let's start from the very beginning. One thing that we have many people connected from all over Switzerland, but also from abroad. So just if you don't mind to give us a little bit of a picture, what is Immoscout24, and also who is the owner of the company, like how the company has managed.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so Immoscout24 is one of the leading property portal platform. We are owned by 50% Ringier and 50% Mobiliar in insurance company. And so we are in Switzerland, a duopolistic market. So we are two main players together with Homegate, yeah, in this area.
Super. And what about your role? What is your job in the company, and also how long have you been in the company? Maybe just a little bit of information of yourself, yeah. Maybe also a little bit of your past.
Yep. So I joined Scout24 6 years ago as the director for Immoscout. So I'm leading this part of the company, all the real estate part. We are around roughly 100 people working for Immoscout. Before I joined the company, my background is in the past 20 years. I was always involved or engaged in different managerial positions in the e-business, meaning I did the transformation of business models, creating new business models, all regarding with digitization, but mainly in the area of financial services. I was active before joining Scout24.
Thank you. And sometimes it's not very easy to, a company, you know perfectly what they do, or at least you believe, what they do. But just from a business point of view, do you mind to explain us what is your business model? So how the company works, how you make turnover, and also hopefully, despite COVID, how you make profitability.
Yes. So basically, we are a classified platform. That means what you saw in 40 years ago in classified print, we put this business model online. So basically, we have 3 customer segments. So we have the professional segment, basically real estate agents. They put their listings on our platform. Then we have the private segment, meaning people like you and me who wants to sell on their own or rent on their own one apartment. And third segment is then all the ad business, so around on the platform, we generate revenues also from ad. So this is the offering side. On the other side, we have the demand side. So all the people throughout Switzerland who wants to whether rent a new apartment or buy a new apartment or house. So it's a double side marketplace, if you want, with an offering side and the demand side. And we are gaining our revenue with a pay per listing model, meaning people are paying for putting their listing on our platform. as you would put it, or as you put it also in print format years ago, and still today you can do it.
Mm-hmm. And can you share with us some data, some information, whatever it's possible, of course, in terms of either numbers of reader, of customers, let's say, or turnover, like, or number of employee? Can you just help us to size a bit the activities?
Yes, I mean, as I mentioned, we are a leading online platform. We have on monthly average between 6 and 7 million visits on our Immoscout24 platform, so meaning roughly 2 million unique visitors. So it's quite huge in terms of demand side. On the other side, we have approximately 3,000 business customers, and also between 5 and 8,000 private customers a year who putting their listings on our platform. Yeah.
Okay, and of course, let's say, if we all know that now we're moving forward from the really big lockdown of COVID, and probably when we set it up, this first decision to take this interview, we were kind of in the middle. So first of all, I would like to understand how has COVID impact your business, both as a company but also as, you know, your customers' relation, and also, and I'm talking about during COVID, and now especially trying to think about the future. How do you see the reaction of your customers, and how do you see the market evolving specifically for Immoscout?
Yes, maybe let's start with the company. So even before the lockdown came, we had internally our task force working together, also with the task forces of Ringier, to be aligned with them, and we took the decision to have all people in the home office even 10 days before the official lockdown came. So we were very precautious, and this was a huge learning. I mean, people have been used to work already at home or from home before, but basically only 1 or 2 days a week. And now the whole week, it was quite amazing to see how people were dealing with that. I mean, it was very a positive experience. Even we're a digital company, that people were really even more productive. The meetings were more efficient. So it was really a very good experience for all the people. Also, we saw after 3 to 4 weeks a little bit a down in the motivation of people, because we were all missing some social contacts and so on. But then it came up again, and now we are actually discussing how we will go back to the offices step by step to have a good mix of both. But we took this experience to rework on our let's say working policy, how we want to work within the company, meaning how much home office and how much in the locations. So it triggered the whole COVID, triggered also rethink how we will work together in a much more effective and efficient way for the future. So this is from company side. Then if we have a look at the business side, I would say that the professional segment of customer, they had the issues that if they were not able to have this social contact anymore, so it was very difficult for them to do their job, showing apartments, speaking with customers, and so on. So they faced also somehow really a breakdown, or on the other side, I would even say they had more work to do to really rent or sell an apartment. But on the other side, the business was still going somehow, not at the highest, but it was still going okay. But if it comes to the private segment, there we saw immediately a drop of 30 and 40%. In the ad business, even higher. So it dropped 70 to 80%, the whole ad business. And when we have a look at the demand side, so also on the demand side, when it comes to visits on the website, unique users on the website, it was also temporarily a drop between 30 and 40%, so quite massive.
And now, like, what are the signals that you are receiving? Because first of all, when we had our call, I was kind of surprised that despite all the situation, still a drop of 30-40% means that there was a 50-60% that was actually able to sell or rent an apartment during full COVID, which it was kind of curious from my side to know that it's possible to even sell an apartment or a house without being able to meet. Maybe it's something that was already been seen before, but still there are some interesting things that might have happened. But now, what is really your look forward, like for the next month, considering what we have experienced during this month?
Yeah, I think when we are looking in the next months, I would say that when it comes to the market of apartments, this will evolve quite stable. Where we see the biggest drop, which will last, I think, longer, it's all when it comes to about the ad business. This will drop. Also, the private segment doesn't recover 100%, but recovered quite a lot in the past several weeks. Yeah, so we are quite optimistic for the future.
And this is good, and I'm really happy to hear that this is your first projection which you have. And talking about what people are looking for, especially in terms of their own houses, you just mentioned that, of course, most of your people, or even all your people right now, or during COVID, they were working from home. We heard that the e-commerce transaction for everything was office at home tools, or desk, or chairs, or printers as exploding during COVID, with a lot of problem for Swiss Post or any delivery company. At the same time, we do understand that, of course, we have been using our home or our house as an office. Do you see in the data any changement overall, on average, in terms of what people are looking for their own house, their own home, like garden or bigger apartments, etc.?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting question, and effectively we saw in the data that right after the lockdown, people were very much looking for, in the search criteria, for apartments or houses with a garden, with terrace, and so on. So you could feel that people knew that it won't be possible maybe to go abroad to enjoy. You have to stay at home. So people were really looking to have this relaxing spots around their own apartment, where they can still have some relaxing moments with their families and so on. Yeah, we saw effectively this in the data, and I think what's also something we saw is that people were looking quite regularly for new apartments. I was quite surprised as well. I assumed that through this lockdown, people won't look. I mean, there are other issues around, but surprisingly, we saw quite a fast recovery on the visit side, where people were looking for new apartments and effectively looking for those criteria, which brings them a good home. My home is my castle.
I would be curious to know if these data are the same all over the countries, or it's just in Switzerland. Of course, I guess all the, let's say, feel of protection or social protection that we might have in our country might be different, and of course also planning for important investment, I guess, could be very different. I don't know. Do you have any data also internationally?
No, internationally, I don't have this data available. Unfortunately, what I know from international, because I'm quite often in exchange with other leading platforms in other countries, they faced possibly the same things as we did. So they had quite a huge drop during. Now, from market to market, it was quite different how long it lasted, the drop. But we saw on average across the different countries the same amount quasi of dropping on the demand side. Yeah.
So you mentioned that, if I got it right, that you have around 100 people employed in Immoscout. Can you explain a little bit better for us how these people are organized in terms of who they are, which groups, and in a way to understand what kind of services you need to deliver to perform your activities day by day? Like who compose the company?
Yeah, basically we have product teams. This is our main teams who are working on new digitized products for our platform, for our customers. And these are cross-functional teams. So it's always a product management, is a product designer, and then developers, front end, back end developers, and we compile these teams together. So we have 7 different teams at Immoscout, and then we have the marketing digging in those teams to market the services. So we have then the marketing area, then the sales area, meaning the people who are consulting our business customers for the best solutions for them, and also then the customer care area. So these are the main people working at Immoscout. Yeah.
And from your own investment, your own technologies, we've been talking just to prepare this interview a month ago, where you told me that also for us this is a moment where we can rethink our business model, our future services we want to offer. So what has COVID time taken to you in terms of ideas and evolution, prospecting of new services and activities?
Yeah, when COVID started, we saw, and that's also something we offered to our customers immediately, somehow this virtual viewings possibilities and tools, that they have a solution if they can't show in physically the apartments and houses, they can still do their business. And in the past, we often had somehow, let's say, pushback, or people or professionals in real estate, they weren't really looking for those solutions. They like more the physical contact and so on. But now through this COVID situation, they were somehow forced to think more innovative, more digital, and they did. Some of them, I spoke to some of them, they were really happy to do this experience, and this will also change their thinking on how they will do business in the future. So this pushed the whole area of digital thinking in the industry of real estate forward. I'm really convinced of that. We actually internally, what we did is also we organized then quite at the beginning of this COVID and the lockdown, we organized quite early a hackathon. We call that hackathon because everybody was working at home, and during 2 days they were looking for new solutions to make our customers efficient during this COVID time, and this was also a great success, where we brought different services also live. For instance, one thing was that one team was creating the idea of having somehow a COVID information hub integrated in our search. So because we have that many traffic on our website, and people were looking for information about all these COVID situations. So we created somehow an information hub there. So really creative ideas, and we realized them quite in short time. Yeah. And it was for us, it was also important at that time that we show our customers that we are with them, because we were aware that our customers would have more problems. It would take them longer time to rent or sell an apartment or a house. And that's also the reason why we immediately offered them that they can, during until end of June, list every property on our platform based on their contract for free. So every additional property they had to list, they didn't have to pay, because we wanted to show them also we are supporting them during those times, and it was really important.
When you're mentioning customers, our customers, because I understand, if I got it right, that this is basically a typical network effect platform or company. Who do you consider to be your customer?
Yes, as I mentioned, we are a two-sided marketplace. So I would say we have the customers, they have the offer, and they put their listings of apartments on the platform. They pay for it. And on the other side, we have the consumers, basically the people who are looking for new apartments and new services. And that's the phenomenon of a two-sided marketplace. So both are customers. Now you have on one hand side the more paying customers, because you have to pay from a business model perspective. You have to pay for the listing on the classified platform, and on the other side, you create a demand which you don't monetize that much as the offering side. Yeah, but they are both customers.
And in terms of competitors, like who are your major competitors, and where do you see potential incumbent, maybe also coming from other industries, if you see any?
I think, as I was mentioning in the introduction, so Swiss market is quite a duopolistic market. We have Homegate and Immoscout. We are the two leading platforms in Switzerland. What we see is that we have from the industry itself, and that's also a phenomenon you see in other countries as well, that the industry itself recognized that they missed to build up their own property platform, and they are somehow dependent on our two leading platforms. And we and they don't want to be that dependent on the leading platforms, because they see, okay, they have fear of being disrupted from us if we're too powerful. And there we see in the French part of Switzerland, there was already Immobilier.ch. This was an industry platform created 3 years ago already, and now we see also in the Swiss German part this movement. There is the next property GA. This is the industry, the real estate industry, and they did now a joint venture together with the cantonal banks, with newhome.ch, and they try to attack us in the future. So these are basically, beside Homegate, this is the new challenger in the market, which is coming and attacking us and Homegate. But from my point of view, I'm much more feared about the global evolution. If I have a look at Facebook Marketplace, for instance, they are even though they don't really focus that much yet on real estate, they try now to create these categories. They are quite growing in terms of listings in this area of real estate, also in car and so on. And for me, this is much more a competitor which has a different business model that we have. And we have to really watch out on Facebook. I mean, Google is also something we know all. If they want to enter this field, if they put the power in this area, then it's also getting quite difficult. But we don't see this direction in Google. But on the other side, on Facebook, you can see also on international level in other markets where they push quite hard already in this real estate area. So that's for me a competitor have to be aware.
While we were in the full of COVID, I had the chance to talk with a lot of the representative manager for many of the companies you've mentioned, and of course, in a way, they've been kind of reflecting the same problematics, which, especially in the advertising, we all faced, well, or many industry players they faced, so they had a big drop in terms of turnover. At the same time, many of them, they came back to me to say this is for sure will generate cultural changes globally, and therefore it's true that right now we are facing a, let's call it, difficult period, or at least not into the business plan, non-plan business few months, but in the same times, overall, we believe that on the long run there will be a big growth in terms of number of advertisers, also smaller or medium players. So overall, they might have thought this as beneficial for the digital economy. But what is your opinion in general around these mega corporations, which they have such important power coming maybe from abroad? Like, how should we behave towards them, in your opinion?
I think we should behave towards them. I mean, we have to take them serious on one hand side, and for me, I always tell our teams to always think, okay, what is our differentiation, where we can really make the differentiation. When it comes now, for instance, to real estate, we still have a big asset that we are very close to the market, and real estate is something you can't move. So it has something very regional, and we have always to think, okay, what kind of services we can offer, what kind of assets we can play, which Google or Facebook they won't play because it doesn't work for them. It's too expensive to create some niche service for one specific market. And I think on one hand side, we should use their strengths to accelerate our business, and on the other side to think always, okay, where we can do the differentiation to offer a USP, a real value proposition towards our customers, which makes the difference, and to make the customers loyal, because we can offer things the big players can't.
Thank you, Martin. We're getting close to the 30 minutes, as we did say to our listener, and we start already receiving some questions. So if you don't mind, I'll anticipate a couple of them, and then if not, we go through on our blog. So first of all, I pick up one which is more related to what is going on in real estate from Alisa, and she says, "Good morning. Will there be market for small apartment after COVID, or do people start to prefer bigger apartments, even if away from city center?" This question came when we were talking about what people were looking for, but I guess in general we couldn't reach it. Also, what are your general expectations in terms of real estate development in Switzerland?
Yes, what we see is that in the urban areas we are missing these smaller apartments. The demand is still increasing there, and what we see now, what we saw during COVID, that some of them have really looked more on the countryside for the same amount of money, looking for having a bigger apartment, even they're not in the city again. So I think what I expect is there is something where people rethink where they want to live, because we don't know how long does it last until normality of traveling, of going abroad. So people rethink their wishes or their practical aspects, also where they want to live. But still, I don't expect that this will create a really drop in the demand on urban apartments. I mean, we have those hotspots in Zurich, in Geneva, and these hotspots, even this is a rethink of people. In my opinion, they will still stay as hotspots, because from a general perspective, people want anyway to live close to a city, or even in a city.
Do you see any area where you believe it would be worth it to invest because not yet completely exploiting its potential?
Invest in terms of buying real estate.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult right now to really make a bet on where it's worthwhile to invest. I mean, for sure, if you have the opportunity to invest in a hotspot area and you can afford it, I mean, it's a good asset. It's a good investment. It won't dilute the value. But when it comes more in a peripheric area, then it's very difficult to make a bet if it's worthwhile to invest, because we have this increasing apartments coming, and we have this decrease on the demand side because we don't have that much migration this year, even worse than the past years. And also from the Swiss population on itself, it doesn't grow that much. So we are building much too many apartments still.
And do you have any employee which is actually not working from Switzerland? Like, do you see this other trend of digital nomad, which they might be working from all over the world for a Swiss company?
I don't see that really on a big scale. I mean, now speaking for Scout, we don't have those digital nomads. We had during COVID, where we recruited people from abroad, but they couldn't migrate then, so they were forced to work also from home. But this is not our intention. We have 100% daughter in Vietnam, a development company. But then still, they are very they're centralized in their offices in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah. Thank you. Then we have the question from Donald Blanchard. I hope to pronounce rightly his name. Thanks for the interview, Carlo and Martin. What are the newest digital solution to engage with customer in such an analogic sector? So, which kind of technology you think they will grow in the real tech sector?
I think what we will see is really this, on one hand side, the chatbot on platforms. That's in my opinion a potential where I see appearing, so that a chatbot can then interact with the potential customers and qualify the customer until it's getting really somehow a hot lead or close to a business. And on the other side, also messaging tools. I think messaging tools on the platform where we can interact immediately together. This will also put the efficiency on a even higher level.
Your customer, the professional ones, how have they evolved in the last 10 years from a digital point of view? Do you see that they have, like, especially the medium size, I guess, or even the smaller one, someone really dedicated to social media, to platforms? Like, do you call as a customer on the other side and you find someone specialized in managing the relation with you, or they're still super fragmented and not necessarily specialized on digital?
They are quite fragmented, I would say. Generally speaking, the whole industry, real estate industry, is still very analog those days. I mean, the bigger companies like Wincasa, Livit, Prever, so the big ones, they are investing quite a lot in the past years in digitizing, and they made huge move forward. But because also they have a huge pressure on margin from the landlords themselves, from the investor side. But then when it comes to the mid and small enterprises, still a lot today they're working with Excel and paper instead of using digital tools. Now, I think COVID showed some of them really the opportunities with the digitized future. And from our side, we are also pushing very hard, because our objective is really to support them and to make our customers more efficient in doing their business. We don't want to disrupt our customers. What we want is we want to bring them more efficient and get paid for this efficiency at the end of the day.
Do you see any chance, any opportunity from Immoscout to provide software and technology to agencies that is more than what you are currently offering? Like, is there a scenario here?
Yes, that's something we're always looking at. And 2 years ago, we closed a strategic cooperation with Casasoft together, which is a leading CRM software for real estate agents when it comes to the sale process. So not the rent process, but the sale process. And that's something I'm really convinced with such tools we can offer much more efficiency to our customers, and they can focus on their strengths, which is dealing with the potential buyer and bringing him to a contract, and all the digitized process and services we offer them through the tool and make them more efficient. So instead of closing one deal maybe a month, they are able to close 3 deals a month. And this is a huge gain in efficiency, and that's the way we're pushing forward. Now, when it comes to the renting market, we are also looking on how we could do and support on a similar baseline our customers. Yeah.
And talking about macro trends, we saw that video, for instance, has exploded during COVID. Maybe now that people are back to work, could be a little bit reduced, but still, it's since many years. The development of video, something that is shown in any data, which is growing also in Switzerland. Is there like a specific strategy in terms of marketing from your side related to content production? And how are you currently helping and supporting in the content production, and what kind of role plays the video activity?
I mean, the the video activity is something we are promoting to our customers, but customers, for them, it's still seen much more as an additional cost for them. I'm still convinced that this will grow, but it won't grow that fast as we were expecting. From our point of view, where we're looking really at is that we want to have more qualitative content of a listing to show our potential buyer or renter, and therefore that's something we want to emphasize in the future, that we tell our customers, listen, the more pictures you have, if you have a video, this gives you more quality, and with more quality you will get sooner, you can accelerate your deal. So you will find much easier a renter if you have a top quality content rather than having 2 pictures and 2 lines of text. And the pictures are even very low quality. So that's something we are working in the future, because I'm really convinced that if you have good content, and we see it also from our data analysis, that the better the listing is in terms of quality with pictures, video, and so on, the faster it gets sold or rented again. And that's something we want to promote. And video could play a big role in there. I'm convinced, but it takes longer that we expected at the beginning.
And in terms of services, so if I got it right, you don't offer, correct me if I'm wrong, a service for the professional or even non-professional to produce the content. So you don't offer this kind of additional service.
No. Because it's then, I mean, it's a completely different business model than we would have being paid for content. What we are aiming for is really that we can give the right guidance and the right tips and tricks, and maybe also show them some tools what they can use to do it in the right way. But then at this level, it ends our service, yeah. Because otherwise we would have to hire a lot more people to bring this content together.
Yeah, I mentioned because I saw that a similar business in Italy. They did create recently a network of professional certified by them to produce content, because I heard that they also got in the data that the higher quality of the content and also the way you present the apartment, not only like, let's say, the professional picture, but the way you lay out the apartment when you take the picture might significantly vary the results of the sales or of the rent. Yes, so I think really we went through a lot of very interesting points. Again, Martin, thank you very much for your time. If anyone wishes to pose maybe a last question, it's now the right time among our viewers. Is there something we forgot, or is there something which is worthy to be mentioned about the future strategy development of Immoscout, which I haven't yet asked?
No, I think basically what we want to do in the future is transform our business from a more classified platform where you pay per listing to a more performance-oriented business model, where we are paid for the performance we bring to our customers. And meaning by performance is all the digitized services along the value chain to make them more efficient and to increase really this demand that they can even faster find the right match of a renter or a buyer.
I understand. I guess it's really even maybe it might sound easy to be said. I believe that could dramatically change the business model and also the effort to achieve it. I believe it is really a big task to be achieved.
Definitely, it's a big but a nice challenge.
Of course, in a world which is all moving towards a pay-per performance concept, as our friends from Google and Facebook are using us to, and also Amazon, they are putting us in mind to work for. And in general, maybe a last question, and overall, like it moves even higher to Immoscout. What is your expectation for the recovery of development of Swiss economy in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I think generally for the Swiss economy, I expect that in Q4 there might be some major layoffs we will see, because the whole travel industry, the whole tourism industry, and also retail. I mean, people are also through COVID made much more experience of e-commerce and so on. So this will have consequences, definitely. I hope it won't be that dramatic still, but we will see some recession going on in the next 6 to 12 months, and I think we have to really have also new models and new digitized models to create new businesses for the future, which can then also absorb and create new areas of the economy, which will stabilize the strength of the Swiss economy also for the future.
Thank you very much. So Martin, thanks again for your time and availability. As said, we will share this video contribute after our, of course, time to fix everything through the newsletter. And again, thank you for your time, and I hope to be able to meeting you in person once COVID will be over.
Would be great. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you very much for the participants as well. Thank you.